I have the weirdest accent because it's just weird.
Yeah.
How's it feel being the only Latino Cyclops?
I'm
We
sure there's
laugh,
other
by
Latins
the
there
way.
in there. You know there was Latins in that whole tiki thing, right? The tiki torch people.
Oh, I don't know. Why are you bringing up that? I mean, is that what we're getting into? I gotta prepare my mind right now.
No, but I'm just saying that like being Hispanic is extremely complicated because you're an ethnicity within different races. So it's really, 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 really complex. And Latins have a lot of issues to work through.
Man,
The things Johnny clicks the damn live button on.
we are getting deep tonight. What is going on? Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is, I don't know, welcome to the House of the Conqueror. I'm Johnny B. Crazy. We got an all-star cast tonight from Tech West, Dornish Wench, Fandom D, and Alicia Kingston, the Lord Commander, AK, as we call her, and I'll whisper that. But no, Watchmen, really crazy episode. This shit is blowing up online. People are either love this show or hate this show. I've got some thoughts about it. We've got some thoughts about it. I know you guys in the chats have some thoughts about it. Go ahead and let us know what you think. Shit is getting a little crazy. This is episode 7 and almost religious awe. We get the trial of Ozymandias. We get the reveal of Cal as Dr. Manhattan. We also get to see the origin story of Sister Knight, aka Angela Abar, and much, much more. But without further ado, I will introduce my homies on the panel and start with Alicia Kingston. How are you doing tonight?
What is going on? I am doing quite well at the moment. I'm here with a nice cold brew, chatting with my friends, and we're about to talk about this awesome episode that we just watched.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Fandom D, are you here? How's your eyebrow? And the forehead's looking nice.
Now he comes for my eyebrows because he knows I don't have it. I see you. I see you. Hey, all, Phantom D saying here. I'm glad to be part of a panel talking about a show that has a dildo foreshadowing shit. Who would have known? Who would have known?
That's right, and that is actually just a personal body massager. Get it right, Fandom D. Dornish Wench, how are you going? You like being introduced on a blue dildo. How does it feel being with the Cyclops? Are you a captive right now? I don't know. Tell me your story. Paint me in a box, so have fun with it.
I'm reporting live from the Crawford's very elegant part of the closet. So, yeah, I've been taken by Mrs. Crawford. I think she wants me to clean her house.
It's a very nice closet. It's very well kept, at least, I have to say. Hey, don't be doing stuff like that. We'll get shut down.
For
Okay?
real, for real.
And I think, yeah, never
Help
mind.
me. I'm captive. Help me.
Get it right.
Miss Crawford is crazy.
I mean, no, she is so crazy, and I just gotta say, Lori has great reflexes, and she just sprung into action at the moment when she
Excellent.
should have.
Excellent reflexes, let me tell you. I was just so floored by her quick act of judgment. Floored by her this episode.
But
She's the best detective ever. Tech West, how are you
Oh
doing?
yeah, I'm alive. I'm alive somehow.
Are you?
I'm with my mom in the Crawfords right now. You know, nothing's wrong at all. I'm just trying to, stay alive. So glad to be here, and you can hang yourself now.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I don't know. That's pretty mean to say stuff like that. I don't appreciate it.
I'm Will. I love Will.
Well, Will's maybe an elephant I know some people think that, but me and Dornish have another thought, but we'll just maybe an elephant, so I won't kill that thought yet, but we'll talk about that in just a few. Let me introduce everybody in the chat, because we've got some awesome people down there. Renee M. of House Stark, how are you doing, Renee? I hope you're doing fantastic. Alicia Kingston's down there, we got her up here, so maybe she'll do some talking for us. Tim Eve, what the Eve, bro? And people are like, hey, that's Tim F. No, it's not. It's Tim Eve, okay? Get it right, guys. Peter Griffin, what is good, man? Dark Mother, big hearts to you. Big old super hearts to you. Mackenzie L. Burns, a.k.a. Sasa. Go check out Sasa's channel. She be doing stuff. Actually, tomorrow night, we have Episode Club Harlots. Episodes 5 and 6. Yeah, I go over there and talk about whores. So that's what's up. D.D. Lee, what is good? How are you doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a good time. Steve York, what's up, man? Give me that salty commentary. I heard you stopped watching it, man, but I would like you to give me some salty commentary because, you're an awful human being. Danny McKay, what is good? Finger guns, bang, bang. Who else got up in there? I'm just killing it. All right. So let me see where we'll start off. Maybe not Angela's childhood. Maybe Angela's child. Yeah, screw it. Let's start off with Angela's childhood. We see why she is who she is and what actually happened to her parents in Vietnam after the colonialistic takeover of Vietnam. That Dr. Manhattan had a hand in. Maybe this was a little bit of guilt trip, and maybe this is why he fell in love with Angela in the first place. We'll see. What the hell? She was a kid, and her family fell victim to a terrorist attack. She found a movie of a superhero called Sister Night, and well, it was someone she can relate to. She gets to meet her grandmother later, and this is pretty touching. I would say I laughed when Grandma fell dead of a heart attack just because I thought it was fucked up placement for the show wise. It's like 2 seconds after she said I only had a small heart attack, she's dead at the back. Just don't say you ever had a heart attack. You know what I mean? Just have the heart attack. You know what I mean? That would have been better for me, but I'm such an asshole. Anyways, I'll let Tat go first because he's been chomping at the bit, and hopefully he's drinking all his water.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm drinking my cool clear water. But yeah, this was an interesting episode. There was a lot to see just right there in the beginning about Angela. We see her, find her calling with this movie. And the movie is funny to me because it's a blaxploitation movie. It's basically a black dynamite. It's
I'm
all
gonna
your
get you
black kung
suckers, the best one.
flus.
The best parody.
Yeah. Count Blackula, this is what we're along the lines of. The Sister Night cover looks a lot like the Bobby Digital cover, so I like that. I don't know if they were trying to, shout out the Woo. I sure hope they were because it was so cool. But we see, where Angela gets her whole costume from. We see where she wants to become a part of the police force. Here's this lady hands her the badge. One of the weirdest things I found when going through her childhood memories was the whole "can I listen" part. But in the beginning, everything's just so off. Like everybody's celebrating Dr. Manhattan, and we know what Dr. Manhattan did in Vietnam. It's not great. So why everybody's celebrating him in the middle of Saigon is odd too. There's a lot about her childhood that is very odd, and we can see just how the world views the U.S. and for some reason why the U.S. and the USSR are kind of like this. It's very weird.
Yeah, something's interesting with that. Dornish.
Is it?
Okay. Okay, so Angela, poor thing, can't get a break. Just when you think your life sucks, just refer to Angie over here because poor girl can't get a break ever. She's over there living a hard knock life like Annie and them, scrubbing floors, being yelled at. And
Giving that one to
like
Jay-Z right now.
you know, but I just knew that her parents had to die in Vietnam. I just didn't know where Cal fit into that. where we're gonna find out next episode anyway. But that's the part that just the fact that her grandmother went to go find her. And what's interesting to me is, why did Angela's father hold a grudge against his mother? I can see him holding a grudge against his father, but for me, there's like a gap missing there. Like, I don't understand why the father would not have her as next of kin, not communicate with her. I'm a little bit, taken aback. It's a little harsh.
Can I say, yes, we have a missing gap. I don't know if we'll get it, but I will assume that she was kind of abusive to him, and maybe even subconsciously or blamed him somewhat for what happened, for their split up or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, or sons and their mother sometimes just don't get along. Not all
It's
aunts
I don't
possible
like
know.
that
Like,
over time that she forgave Will Reeves, but I guess he didn't. So he resented that. So he possibly just distanced himself from his mother as well.
that could be it. Yeah, that could be it. Because what I saw from her through the nostalgia flashback was just a mother's sacrifice. She made every sacrifice that a mother would make. She took her children out of an increasingly dangerous situation, away from their father, who was kind of losing it. You go into this dark place when your life is about vengeance. And he was going down that rabbit hole, and it was only going to get worse. So she had to take her family out of that circumstance. And I guess children don't always understand, when they're smaller, what the decisions that adults have to make. And when they get older, they may harbor resentment until they're faced with something similar, but he never had to face anything like that. It looks like Angela's family was pretty happy before that attack came. So I just found that dynamic interesting,
I heard he
at least
rode
as a mother.
on the back of Dr. Manhattan's neck while he was shooting people pew pew with his laser fingers. But that's just speculation and rumor. Fandom D saying, I hear you are in a downtown Chinese restaurant. What's up?
I wish I was in a downtown Chinese restaurant. I've hardly eaten all day. They didn't even give me a 30-minute break while working. I'm a robot, apparently. But yes, Angela freaking flashback of her childhood, tragic indeed. And I still can't get the Jay-Z Hard Not Life out of my head. Thank you, Dornish. Thank you. But you can pretty much see again like how they're comparing like Angela to Will Reeves. When he was a kid, he was like pretty much like inspired with Hooded Justice from that silent movie. And here we have Angela being inspired through the whole DVD of not DVD, the VHS of Sister Night.
Can I freak you out really quick, Fandom D Saint, and tell you that possibly there's a way that Will is either trying to use Sister Night's body to become immortal, or Sister Night and Will are the same person. I don't know, I just
At
got
one
this crazy
point, we
feeling.
thought that Angela was the clone of freaking Will Reeves, but I don't know if that's still possible. I don't know what they're
Is it
showing.
though? Who knows?
There's an explanation for that elephant, but I don't know if that mind transfer is one of them. I wouldn't say so.
I'd say that
And also, I
elephant.
forgot whose
It's
comment it
just
was that it was like weird seeing how they're just like praising, Dr. Manhattan. And it seems like it's like, I forgot which, I think it was that documentary I was saying it, whether they praise him as a god or is he going to be like some type of a conqueror. So, and how we have pretty much a foreshadowing of later on where we see what the cavalry is doing. But I did like how they did that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hey.
I think there's fear too in that. Fear of God. I think that's what that's about.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. What do you
She
say?
probably stepped away.
Oh, she gone.
No. Sorry,
Oh.
I forgot to unmute.
Oh, my bad.
Nah, my
Go
bad.
ahead.
That was my fault. I thought it was quite interesting that we did see the Sister Night movie, and I think it was really, really cool. Very sad. Angela could not catch a damn break. Like she was almost to freedom, and then nothing happened. And I would just say I'm a little upset at all those people because they totally pulled a freaking Bravos and just saw this woman pretty much die and just walk by like nothing happened. Like when Arya was hurt on the street and nobody in Bravos gave a fuck. They just kept going about their business. Bastards.
They don't give a fuck over there. In any of those countries, they all about getting their own. If you're dead, you're done with it. You're not. There's nothing to worry about you in this life anymore. Angela gets to see the fucking hardships of Vietnam and places that are, I don't know, a little more harsh than what we're used to here in America. You know, the police just take that guy out back that, you know, that was involved in the bombing that helped, you know, plan it. He was a co-conspirator. They just shot him in the head.
I thought that scene was pretty powerful. And I think it showed that even back then, you know, Angela had that moxie to, you know, not turn away from doing whatever needs to be done. I mean, this guy had killed her parents. So, yeah, she has no fucks to give. Yep, that was him. You should go inside the orphanage. No, I mean, if I can't watch, can I at least listen? Like, I need to make sure he's taken care of.
It also shows where her lawlessness comes from. You know what I mean? That Wild Wild West round them up type of thing that she's got. And it comes from that. There is a sense of lawlessness in a brand new state in, you know, post-war time. So yeah, we can see exactly where she gets that from.
Yep, and kudos to that female cop for recognizing that in her, and that helped her along her way, because I'm sure it wasn't easy being a black cop in Vietnam either.
Yeah, and that's what resonates with her. That's her true origin story, and the fact that it's so close to Will's and mirrors it, and all of this with him wanting her to have the memories, also with Lady True and Bien being her mother, that she's injecting her memories into. At the same time, Sister Night's being injected with who knows what. Supposedly it's whatever to get her memories back. But really quick, Tim Eve, yes, 4 weeks ago, and I've been calling it for a while, Ozymandias is in that damn statue. Deal with it. Now that I've thought about it with Dornish,
dear.
I think he's the one that fell to Earth.
Yeah.
If he was captured, he could have fell to Earth, and that whole place is built around that statue, because I feel like Lady True idolizes Ozymandias, and there's a little more to that. Yeah.
I think there's a chance that Ozymandias is her father.
A good chance. He was over there during the Vietnam War, correct?
Yeah, he was with the whole team with Dr. Manhattan and them.
There you go.
I think it's very, she kept saying, you know, I want my parents around me to see my accomplishments. So with the plan she has, of course, she's going to want the OG that even gave her these smarts to be there and witness it.
And I mean, I would hate to, you know, say that somebody else's theory on Ozzy was right, because I was hoping I was correct. That he's on some other planet. But
hubris, young man. Hubris.
Yeah, you're 1,000% correct, man. She caught him. Everything about, you know, what's happening seems to point to the statue, and I think I feel like it makes more sense if what we're seeing with Ozymandias is actually flashbacks and not so much the present. If it's flashbacks, it makes sense, because now we see how he comes to the statue. But then the question becomes, why are these flashbacks important, and why are they taking up
back?
The start over of humanity as a whole. Nobody knows who the fuck they are. They have to completely start over, and they will be at her mercy. They'll be looking for someone to guide them. People with amnesia, fucking A. Think about that.
So a neuralizer, in a sense. That's her plan.
And we were talking about how each episode, Lady True just embodies so many of Adrian's qualities. So if we're looking at this story, like we're comparing Lori to her parents, we can also start looking at it with comparing Lady True to her parents. We know a lot about her mother beyond, because we get to see her, but if it turns out that Adrian is her father, then we can start pulling apart those qualities that make her like Dion and like Adrian.
There's only one thing that I would say puts kind of a dent in everything, and that would be that these Vietnam flashbacks that Beyond seems to be having. If that, I feel like that would occur during Vietnam. So if that's the case, Adrian's still young then. I mean, there's no reason he couldn't possibly like an older woman, but I don't know if she's this old lady. I don't know. There's something that
So
seems off.
she says that she feels like she's this old woman. So her mother did die old. Her mother didn't die young. But she said in order for the clone to be her mother, the clone had to have her mother's memories and experiences. So if during the time of Vietnam her mother was a young woman, she had to experience those things. That's the only way that I can
But she's experiencing
explain
it
that.
old, mom. She's experiencing it old. She's already, like when Angela takes Will's things, she experiences it within his age. So when he got his badge, he was a young man. So she felt like young Will Reeves. When she got the memory of him hanging up old Judd, when Judd Fry is dead, she is old Will. She's old Will sitting in the wheelchair. So I feel like that she's getting old lady memories from Vietnam. I don't know. We'll have to
Well,
see further on.
I think she's getting them all, maybe the most recent ones being the old man, or old woman, or maybe she hasn't got the young memories yet. Possibly we could see her, because Lady True is giving them to her when she's asleep every night. We don't know how many treatments she's got, when she actually started this treatment, but we know she said that she wouldn't be my mother if she didn't have her memories. So she's going to have to go to, and she's going to have to give her all of her mother's memories for her to have her actual mother back. And this goes to one of her lifelong goals, which I think this is more than just a mesmerizer. We have immortality here. And this is really like this underlying thing that nobody has really mentioned in the show, but it's there. Like immortality.
Yeah,
So
it's
this
like
is like
forget
the
the
second
fountain of
HBO
youth.
show where they're talking about immortality now.
Yeah, it's like forget the fountain of youth, and it's like, or forget trying to live in the past like Adrian's been doing. It's more, why not live forever? She has a completely different plan than Adrian. I mean, while Adrian's like, they're almost like two opposite sides of the coin while still being on the same in terms of intellect. She seems to be the smartest woman on planet Earth. I feel like that's what Lady True is for this. She's like this times Adrian, because while Lady True doesn't believe in like half of the things Adrian does, like for example growing people in that horrifying process that he does, she believes in them growing, naturally, while still putting these memories in slowly. Meanwhile, Adrian's just like, you don't need memories, you don't need all this, you just grow and do whatever I say. So,
Well,
she, yeah.
maybe to Dornish's point, I would say that maybe he made her. She was made by him and her mother. That
That
she
could
was
be a
able to be an
possibility.
experiment. She was someone that is a disposable person at that point in time, a war victim. If she goes missing, no one's going to ask any questions. So he has a god complex. Okay, and this is just put it together to me. You just said it with the babies. I did not create you, but what did he create? We don't really know. But if he created life somewhere, what if it is Lady True? This perfect protege. It seems her life's works, and me and Dornish were talking about it earlier too. That they almost are the same person, which is very very interesting.
Even
So,
her manner of speaking, her assuredness in her vision, and the way she justifies her own actions, that's all Adrian. Completely him.
So here's a thought on that. What if, this random, ridiculous year-long trial and his, supposed prison is self-inflicted? And if that's the case, and he did create Lady True, or maybe, he did have her, in the biological sense, she is actually his daughter, he could have foreseen all this nonsense that is going on and how the world is split up again, but he knows he can't do the same thing twice, at least not under his name. So he creates this whole situation for Lady True to set up. And if you look at it, the plan for them is the same. They're just going about it in different ways. So it makes sense. And I think it's possible that he is in on it. And he's in on it because it was his original plan all along.
That
But there's a lot to unpack there, so
Sounds like
I don't know.
His captors call him
conspiracy.
master.
Yeah,
mean,
that
Yeah.
could very well be it. I do know one thing about one of the characters. This is one of the theories I've been holding on to, is that we might know who the most honorable game warden is. And after reading Watchmen, I saw that there was a little comic thing for Alan Moore and his different comics, and he has a character by the name of Phantom Stranger. And Phantom Stranger is this guy in his cloak, and he has the Zorro, domino mask, and he has this whole like Zorro look going on. Kind of looks like the Game Warden, and he deals with these cosmic anomalies. Think of him like Doctor Strange, but Zorro at the same time. He's this really cool guy. So I was thinking, like, well, maybe this is a Phantom, that is Phantom Stranger, and he's trapped Adrian for messing with cosmic powers far beyond his own comprehension. He's created this, essentially, he creates this giant squid, drops in the middle of New York, kills half of New York's population, and he's playing God. He's just consistently playing God. So Phantom Stranger pretty much deals with people like that, and he steps in all the time.
Can I bust your bubble?
Yeah.
You'll hate me. But if you go back and watch it, I'm pretty sure. What's the other person's name?
Phillips. I know he looks like a Phillips.
Look, it's Phillips with a mustache. I'm telling you.
It looks like a Phillips, but for some reason, I just don't know why.
Look, the Phantom Stranger would not call him Master, I don't think. That's my only
But he doesn't call
him
him Master. Because the Phantom Stranger doesn't call him Master. He says, while he'll refer to him as, sir, and he'll speak with
he says, I'm your humble servant.
Well, that actually could be an insult, because it's been used before. Even in our history, Alexander Hamilton and his political rival Aaron Burr, when they would write letters to each other, he wrote him a letter and he said, I have the honor to be your obedient servant, Alexander Hamilton. And it was kind of a jab at him, like, I don't know what you expect from me, I'm not your slave, so here you go.
I agree with that. And don't you be bringing up smart stuff to try to prove your point. I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay. But I do
How dare you lose the logic?
I do think that I think he called him Master at some point, but I will digress on that, because even the jury of his peers had to judge him, which was pigs. I don't know. I still think it could be in his head. Fuck if I know. He created this somehow. Okay, he created his own prison somehow, and it could be a different person. But I would think the dignity of any person that was made to watch over Ozymandias that long, that guy's an asshole anyway.
Made to endure his flatulence as well. So
Tank does have an awesome fucking knowledge.
That
Screw you with that, Tank.
Hilarious.
No, but if Damon is referring to Phantom Stranger, I mean, the Game Warden looks like the Lone Ranger, but he also may have a little similarity to the Phantom Stranger, and it could be just him trying to pull in the DC universe, just like there was that, falling, that Superman crashing on the Clarks farm. I think he just tries to put like all these references to DC universe. He does Batman references as well in here.
Yeah,
So
that
He had
guy
like a
turned out to be
Superman
an
comic,
asshole.
like what was it, the Wade episode, I think, or so? No, it was previous episode. They had like a Superman comic, so he does it a few times.
That was Will Reeves' origin story, and it was when he was come out and talked to somebody on the sidewalk. They were reading the DC Comics #1, man. Ew! Or Action Comics back then, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see what we got going on in chat. I know we got some peeps talking about stuff. Renee of House Stark ordered takeout for the kids for dinner. The delivery driver just pulled up in a Benz. Delivery paying that kind of money now. I'm in the wrong damn line of work.
Right. What? And
Maybe
where
I
do you
am
live
too.
again? I think we all need to reevaluate.
that
our
may
life
be one of his side hustles. It's all about passive income and extra income, yo. If you don't have like 7 incomes, you're not living life right now.
Dude, I make $60 a month through Patreon, and that's how I live my life, y'all. Okay, I be hustling for little sums of money, but I like to punish myself and work really, really hard. So y'all go check out my Patreon. I do a lot of stuff on there. You know, give me $1 or 40. Who cares? All right, just I had to plug that while I was at that weird
Man,
trip.
y'all remember Everybody Hates Chris?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
The random gangster dude that was on the block. That was Johnny just now. Hey, little dude, let me hold it down.
Exactly. Chrissy said I sell nudes on Patreon, and that is very true. I do sexy readings and sexy theory videos too. What is a sexy theory video? Go sign up for Patreon and find out. Steve York loves them. He loves them. He watches them on repeat all day. Did I just rob you? Did he? I'm dead. I'm dead inside. Peter Griffin, you got any lettuce questions, bro? Let us talk a little bit more about this episode. Steve York thinks that Night Woman, Lady True, and the cops who should have broken her hip, meaning Lori, will be the only ones who aren't clones. I might can get down with that logic. Everybody's been replaced with a clone of their own. Oh, no. Shut up with Marcella Lannister, Peter Griffin.
So we just entered the world of us. There's clones running around everywhere.
The tethered.
The tethered.
Oh my God. During Halloween Horror Nights, Terrence basically, my son, Tech West, he basically terrorized me in the Us house because I hate the voice that they make, that voice. I hate that freaking voice. And they had it on in the loudspeaker in the haunted house, and he's behind me, like going, "We're Americans." I was like, yo, shut up. Like, I wanted to kill him.
That sounds like comedy. I would have paid to see that.
So annoying. Oh my God, I hated that house. That little boy came out on his floors. I was like, ugh. It was bad.
Steve York, you're a double patron. I tell you what, I could make a funny ass joke right now, Steve.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's definitely a joke in that, but that's not none of my business.
There's one that hits really close to home, and maybe Steve's seen my helmet, maybe he hasn't. Who knows? I know there were some good damn questions up here, but the chat just got nasty. I don't know though. We lost something. Oh, wait. Peter Griffin, I think, had a good point. Catherine Harding, thank you for popping by. Catch up on it. Oh, Tim Eve calling it. Lube Man, Petey is going to rescue Agent Blake. All right, so we had Mirror Guy. He survived. I knew he was going to jack him up or either get kidnapped. So there's that. And PD seems to, in my opinion, I had this theory that he lubed himself up and squeezed himself into the bunker. And that's how he found them. Also, what do you guys think Petey's going to do here? I believe he's going to save Lori. What do y'all think?
You finna die.
Well, I know that's going to happen, Tech. And that's my job, okay? Don't be taking the one-liner zingers. No, I'm just kidding.
I think there's a very high chance that he's gonna go and try to save Lori. I mean, I think he genuinely has a crush on her. And so not only is she his superior, but he wants to actually make sure she's okay. So I hope we see something like that because I don't know. I'm still mad that Lori's spidey senses picked that moment to malfunction. You have been
that was
whipped
annoying.
so for the whole time you've been on screen, you've been whip smart and you catch everything. But you didn't see this shit coming, especially after the woman said, well, that was the original plan. You should have been up and had your gun out just as quickly as you pulled your gun on Angela in the damn station.
She done got lax.
It made no sense.
She's slipping, like literally slipping. The first thing I thought is like, really, Laura, you gonna stare right into those little lights and after learning about the mesmerizer? Hey, she just admitted to being in the Cyclops. Let's just stare at that remote for a few seconds. What are you doing?
Why are you pressing that button?
She
like
even
previous
had
episode,
an
Regina admits like, oh, she knows like Will Reeves was part of like the supposed death of Judd, and she literally springs into action. When it comes to Miss Crawford, no, she just stares at her.
You know what? I think it's because she was white.
She even hits the damn remote.
She felt like she trusted her more.
Yeah, the whole thing was absurd. I mean, the damn thing was so old, it was malfunctioning. You had ample time after that first little jump to get the hell off of that couch. But no.
She should have like ducked her really quick. I don't understand.
Exactly. I don't understand why her
reflexes
just skipped out on her right there. It's ridiculous.
Do y'all think Petey's gonna save her or Mirror Guy? Tech, Petey's gonna die, right? So get back into that. And is Mirror Guy gonna save Lori's ass?
Like, because Peter Griffin pains me to say it.
Did you see what Peter Griffin said?
Nah, I didn't.
That Mirror Guy stole that guy's mask and he's gonna infiltrate.
Would you stop saying mirror glass when y'all know it's looking glass?
Stop saying mirror glass.
You know my name.
For real, put some respect. Put some respect on his name.
Hey, let Tech talk. I was interrupting him good enough on my own. Go ahead, Tech.
Well, my thing is, there's something about Dale that just says, I'm not going to make it. And I don't know what it is, but like, you can sense when a character is going to die. Like you just know. And Dale gives me that vibe. Do I think it's going to be saving Lori? Probably yes, because I think Dale's going to come in and we're going to finally see that he's actually Lube Man.
Tell me how he's going to lube up
if
and
he's
save
smart,
Lori.
If he's smart, he'll come out as Lube Man. Then they can't catch him.
Tell me
yeah, he's gonna. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's the game plan. Right. Okay. So Lori's shackled in this basement. So he's gonna lube himself up. He's gonna slip underneath.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's gonna slip underneath. He's gonna get into the 7th K and he's gonna untie her. And as they're running away, he's gonna get shot in the back and die.
You think he's gonna be able to untie the knots with his slippery fingers?
Yeah, he'll find some way. He'll untie it, and then as he's trying to run away, they're just gonna pop him in the back. And
you think he shoots lube from his eyes? You think that's another?
Like as he cries tears, but it's not tears, it's lube.
Shit, Peter said he's gonna lube up and jump through the black hole mirror. Why would he lube up, Peter?
Easier travel through time and space.
Right, it's the show. I mean, why not?
The key to the universe is the lube, I guess. That's the key. Major key alert.
Back on Lori, Christy said after the first time the wife clicked the button, she would have launched off the chair and grabbed that bitch by the throat.
With the quickness. See, high five to Chrissy because that is a New York answer. That's the shit we would do. There wouldn't be no sitting. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What? No. Bitch would have had a knife in her throat immediately.
I mean, it's just that instinct. Once you've been in the city for long enough, you see anything suspicious. You see something, say something, as the subway always says. But like, there was way too many things. First off, she just pulls up to Crawford's house, knowing that there was. Okay, so she knew for a fact that Judd was in 7th Cavalry. And she decides, oh, so his wife probably doesn't know for some reason. That was her first mistake.
She's
And she
white.
just, yeah, she's like, oh, there's no way. There's no way. And then she talks about it openly to her, confesses everything. Then her
Spilled
third
all
plot,
the damn tea.
spilled all the tea. And her third plot is, oh, well, I'm just going to watch this lady hit the button a couple of times and just ask her what she's doing. Like,
Whatever are you doing?
Yeah, it struck me almost like when the comedian gets killed, because he gets killed in a kind of ironic, like it's funny how he dies to me, which is sad to say, but like he's watching TV and he doesn't expect, he's dealt with mad people breaking
Ozymandias
in.
beats the living dog shit
Yeah,
out
and
of
I'm
him.
like, yeah, and he just beats the mess out of him. He try to reach for his guns and all that, and he just pow, gets
Yo, he
beat the
got a
mess out of him.
geriatric beat down.
Shit.
He got the whipping.
So prevalent that she had to say it twice. That wasn't an echo, y'all. She was that quick on the draw. Holy shit, I'm rhyming.
Yeah, Lori, I'm just so disappointed with Lori in that whole scene. You do not spill all of the damn tea. And again, this is a character that, like Tech said, when you see something, say something. She has called out every last bit of fuckery that she's noticed since she came on the scene. But this is what gets past you. This is what you find unfathomable. And now you're tied up to a damn chair in the creepy guy basement.
Not so hot anymore, are ya?
Right. You have no one to blame but yourself. Damn it. You have one job, Lori. One.
I mean, but that's the thing with these heroes, man. They get that complex. Oh, there's no way I can mess up. And every time the hero goes to hell. Don't matter how big you are, no matter how, quick you are.
Literally.
Yeah, like I mean, look at Ozzy. Ozzy's like so he's like, oh, nothing wrong can ever happen to me. In the comics, he thinks he's so cool that he can get rid of Dr. Manhattan, and Dr. Manhattan literally just goes, okay, no, and he grabs him. So you can't be, there's no hero that's immune. And she kind of metaphorically goes to hell here because she falls through the floor. I mean, she literally drops through the floor. She gets sent through hell. So it was just all irony. She's falling into the same pits as everybody else, and she's falling like every other costumed adventurer has.
So, would it be safe to say, and this is kind of going off what you said, Tech, and you'll be like, oh, you're cherry picking, Johnny. But could this be why Dr. Manhattan spared Ozymandias? Could this be the real reason why he never killed him? Is it just because Dr. Manhattan... I know the lore is changing now. This would be something new. But could Dr. Manhattan have foreseen that Ozymandias is actually going to save the world this time instead of causing its destruction?
The lore is not changing too much, actually, because the books have been leading up to this for a while. I mean, this is coming off of two comics. You have Watchmen, and then you have Doomsday Clock afterwards, and they both actually allude to a lot of the things that are happening in the show, from lines in the books being repeated to events from the books being repeated and being spoken about, to even when Ozymandias is recording, it actually is mentioned in the comics too, because there's a part when he's getting ready for Rorschach and Night Owl to come to Karnak to meet him and fight him, and he's sitting in front of his wall of TV screens. He's sitting in front of this giant wall of TV screens, and he tells one of his clones, "Get the equipment ready so that I can start recording." And later we do see a recording of him speaking to President Redford. So, like, literally the books have been leading up to this. We're not straying far.
Well, no, I mean, it would still be something that's new that's made up. They're using lore. What I mean is, it's always been kind of a question as to why, not why he let Ozymandias go through with his plan, but why he let Ozymandias live knowing the danger that we put him in. Could it be that ultimately he saw that Adrian would actually save the world, whether it be, through some kind of weird accidentally doing it, so to speak, or some reason he will be able to save humanity. That's just my thought. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's totally plausible. You know, the last words that he said beforehand to Ozymandias was, you know, like something like nothing really ends. And that
Nothing
left,
ends, Adrian. Nothing ever ends.
yeah. So I think he's always on the long con. He's seen all of this and he knows how it's going to play out. So it's, it's him adjusting, I guess, maybe to get everything done.
That could explain Lady True too, because maybe he readjusts his plan. He's like, no, okay, this doesn't work. So I have to go and I have to do something else. Because you see this, he doesn't get saddened by the fact that it's not going to end. And he doesn't get, like, he just kind of puzzles and he's like, like he has to go back to the drawing board. He's like, I need to do something different. So he goes right back to work and he never stops working. So I think if that's the case, and if we're right, then maybe this does lead into Lady True, and then Lady True's theory, our theory on Lady True becomes solid. So,
well, let's go to my patented segment, Ask the Forehead. Fandom D saying, even off the quad, I'm sorry for being an asshole. Any thoughts?
You being an asshole never ends. So never ends.
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
But
But yeah, it just seems like, if anything, he could have just possibly planned all of this, and that's why he's in the form of cow. Because that's like another thing. It's like, in all this planning, did he need to be like in the form of cow so it all can plan out well for him?
yeah, I think all around we're headed on the right track of what is what. And Chrissy had said something in the chat. How did Lady True know the Seventh Cavalry are going to try and kill Dr. Manhattan? Unless she has, prescient powers herself, only someone that was able to see the future would have that information. So it makes sense that, Dr. Manhattan actually is working with True to get all this done and get all the markers in the place where they need to be. So when her clock is done, then it will mesmerize all the people that it needs to meet the ultimate goal.
And how would Lady, so that's a good question. Does this could this possibly play into Angela really being Will, or Will's clone, that we find out some weird shit later, or somehow him trying to transfer? I don't know. I'm just being weird with that. But Lady True has to be setting this in motion on purpose. Tulsa, Oklahoma is her nexus point, event horizon, whatever you want to call it. It is where she wants to be. What is at the central hub of this? The 7th Cavalry, presumably. So I think she's using this, and if it's odd. Is the 7th K even going to really use the mesmerizer at this point? When Keen is trying to turn into Dr. Manhattan, something we have to get into, trying to turn himself into like Dr. Manhattan. And is the mesmerizer just something to keep the 7th Cavalry or the racists at bay, or fuck, I don't know. Where does that come in?
Oh, well, there was one thing that I found interesting about their plans to become Dr. Manhattan. It kind of puts into question the whole thing of do they know that Cal is Dr. Manhattan? Because then did they try to kill Angela earlier to get to Dr. Manhattan, or were they the whole time trying to get to Dr. Manhattan? That was one of my first things. And the mesmerizer, I think possibly they might still use it, but on a much larger scale. Like they might, now that he's Dr. Manhattan, he can just kind of project the mesmerism to the entire world rather than just, using it on a small scale.
Yeah, I like that. Dee Dee Lee has some good points. Using the clock as a counter idea to the one she actually gave Cyclops, which she possibly could have been the one that gave them the technology that they had as far as the teleporter, which I don't remember the damn. It's like GX7 or some shit. And, basically what Dee Dee Lee is saying that she's going to set herself up to be the savior, much like Ozymandias is doing. This goes back to us comparing her with Ozymandias and Adrian, and her just kind of mirroring his storyline and that creation of her. But I think that's a really, really good point, Dee Dee. Anybody else on that before we get into a little more of what the hell's going on with Dr. Manhattan? I guess we're going to see that origin later. Yeah, what the hell?
I think with Lady True and just all the randomness that was this episode, like the first time she caught Angela by that door, she didn't even like panic or freak out or anything else. She said, "Hey, you hungry? Let's go get lunch." And then she leaves it. And then, Angela, of course, goes back and she breaks in the room. We're expecting to see Will, but there is an elephant with the wires hooked up. And it makes sense that it would be an elephant because, they always say elephants have the longest memories. So if Angela needed something to, help to get her memory brain functions in order, connect her to an elephant. It's still weird, but it makes sense for Lady True doing that. And when they got to the scene with the Manhattan, the ball with the prayers and whatnot, I had a feeling those calls were not going anywhere, and they're just being collected by Lady True. Why are
Lady
they?
True's going to answer those prayers. Goes back to her wanting to be a god, maybe.
In a way, eventually it will, but I think it also goes to show a little bit more that True knew, about Dr. Manhattan and was also working with him. To what extent that was happening, I can't be sure just yet, but I feel like that's the road that they're going down.
Fandom?
I just like that we kind of speculated earlier that, okay, was Dr. Manhattan on Mars? Are they actually, communicating with him? And this whole time he just wasn't on Mars and they just weren't talking to him. Even like Lori even was like, am I really talking to you? Or you're actually hearing this? And this whole time it wasn't.
Yeah, he was just there the whole time, not even separating himself. He's just hiding amongst humans, pretending. Not even pretending, he thinks he's human, whatever they did.
Hide in plain sight. That's always the best way to do it. Hide in plain
I'm
sight.
curious if she kind of knew because she was keep on commenting about how freaking good looking Lori's husband was.
Exactly. That was the first red flag. It's like, your husband's hot. By the way, your husband's hot. Did I mention your husband's hot? Every single time she was in the car with her or in a building, a room, I was like, all right, the thirst is real. We get it,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it made me start to question that. I was like, he probably is. And then his way of talking, his way of being, his way of just telling the children, well, Uncle Judd was nowhere before and now he's nowhere again. Now I'm gonna flip these eggs and I'm gonna hand them to you. Like, that's just how he put, you know what I mean? Like, just casually drop that universal fact on the
Child
kid.
number one, you'll die at age 45, 7 months and 2 days and 76 minutes. I don't know, whatever. Tell their child when they're gonna die.
Yeah, that's absolute facts, and I like that thought because it puts another layer onto Angela's behavior towards Lori. She knows exactly who Lori is. She just has to play it that she doesn't. And if it were me and some random chick popped up talking all this smack and whatnot, if I know that you're my current significant other's ex, I'm a side eye and be a smartass with you also. And that's exactly what Angela was doing this whole time. So it makes even more sense that she doesn't like Lori, especially after Lori keeps commenting on how hot her husband is. Okay, bitch, like Dornish said, we get it. The thirst is real, but shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Stay hydrated, y'all. Diddy Lee says, I got this from somewhere else, but True Company's symbol is in the shape of an elephant. And
Yep.
an elephant never forgets. And what are they using? I don't think it's neurons or shit like that, but they're pulling something from the part of the elephant's brain
Yeah, I
that
think
has
it's
to
a
do with
chemical.
memory.
Yeah, it's some type of chemical, I think, that has to do with
they're
memory.
spraying that chemical on the actual bits of
Neurological
remaining.
pathways.
Yeah, they're spraying it on the neurological pathways to get rid of the remaining nostalgia that's blocking it up. So it makes sense that they would use an elephant again, because like AK said, there's elephants. They never forget anything. They have the best memory in the world out of any of the animals that live here. So it makes sense for them to do that. And as for all the Dr. Manhattan stuff, the cow thing, it just, I find it so funny because, when I first mentioned that, Cal kind of mentions, like he speaks like Dr. Manhattan, and I kept discrediting that Dr. Manhattan could be Will or anything like that because I'm like, oh, he can't pose as a human. I mean, I was half correct because we always knew something was wrong with Cal because something just isn't right about him. Like,
I mean, it could have been,
yeah.
On the spectrum or something. We can't judge
No,
like
it
that.
didn't
But
seem that. He seemed extremely intelligent, but so
like a
beyond in
savant
his intelligence.
is what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a savant. Like, doesn't really know how to interact socially necessarily. And is really, really, really intelligent on specific subjects. But we don't get
Sounds
much
like
of
Tesla.
Cal.
I'm gonna say that the elephants are the North. They remember.
I'm gonna say that Lady True's all about humanity, but a little less on animal cruelty.
Yeah. So does that confirm for us that she's evil and not really doing this out of the goodness of her heart?
That confirms to me
truly
she's like Adrian.
Yeah, she is her father, just like Lori is her father's daughter. True is her father's daughter as well, but she's a little more.
And
upward.
Angela is her grandfather's granddaughter. You know what I mean? Like the apples don't fall far from the tree.
I mean, Angela is her grandfather, so let's get that straight. I'm calling it here first. And I think I said something to that effect a week or two ago. I'm like, okay, wouldn't it be really fucked up if Angela was her grandfather? But, yeah, anyways.
all of the
Fandom.
clues for the parallels and connections for these characters are there.
For real. Fandom. You were going to say something, sir?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Well, that's
Come
helpful.
on, guy.
Tesla said that's why there's no elephants for the Golden Company.
Screw you guys.
Maybe that's where the budget from HBO went to Horton.
Thrones bleeds into everything.
I feel like we have ran through this storyline here, so we're in a freestyle area. I'm kind of through my notes for the most part. We've been really good and straight to the point today, which is not necessarily a bad thing. What do y'all think? Where do you think this is going?
This episode was really straight to the point, though. The only real tinfoily thing that I found happened was the Ernest Hemingway book in Cal's hand, which is a foreshadowing of the next episode to me. But
ooh, I do have something that I did find interesting though that I forgot to bring up. When Dr. Manhattan, when she cracks Cal's shell essentially and releases Dr. Manhattan, we see the blue glow. But what I found most interesting is that she just pulls out the Bohr model thing that's on his head. She pulls out the Bohr model of the hydrogen atom, which only confuses me because I'm like, well, he's a whole person. So is he like trapped in here? What is this little metal ring that she has in her hand? Because it's literally on his head. He's embedded it into himself. This hydrogen Bohr model, he's put it on himself. He's marked himself. But when she goes to get him, she just pulls out this metal piece that came out of nowhere. It's left field. It's not
I'm
canon.
curious
It's
if
not
he
in the book.
created it or Lady True created it.
Yeah, I don't think this is what was in his forehead because it just basically burnt into his head. I think this is some kind of, what Dornish said, an inhibitor. Right, Fandom? Something like that. What you think? Tough crowd.
I was about to say, like, yo.
I honestly thought I muted, but you can go doing it.
Well, that made my brother sad. It's so sad right now. Dornish, who's passing it off to you, I think.
No, oh Lord. Well, I think Cal made this little thing, or maybe Lady True. At this point, I don't know. Lady True knows too much, so it could be a true device to kind of keep him in, because she was talking. They keep talking about this amnesia thing not being something that is common. So maybe that little device was meant to give him amnesia. And when she pulls it out, then the real him blossoms out. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Intriguing. Everybody's gone silent on me.
I
Dornish,
still
I'm
need to know
sorry.
like more information because Lady True does say that Will Reeves came to her, so it's like, did he know about Dr. Manhattan or did she inform him about it? And there's all of this stuff. It's just, where does it begin?
Starts with the chicken and the egg. People are going back and forth in the chat. Peter said that there's this debate. Okay, so in the preview for next week, I'm pretty sure that, Dr. Manhattan tells her that Angela will try to save him, but fail. He's going to die. This will be the end of Dr. Manhattan. I guess this is going to be the big bittersweet pill we have to swallow at the end of this season. But we've seen things change as far as the future. It's not necessarily set. Decisions can happen, and we've seen this happen in the first comic. So I guess it's not necessarily a given, but why not?
I think when how Will was worried that once Angela found out he did a particular thing, she was gonna completely hate him for it. I think that thing is telling Lady True, or maybe just telling the wrong person that Cal was Dr. Manhattan. And when Angela figures out that he was that betrayal, that's probably gonna make her completely cut him off, or maybe kill him. I don't know. It's just interesting to see how it's gonna go, and we only have 2 episodes left. So how is this gonna wrap up?
Oh shit! That's what Judd knew. She was so close to him, right? That was like her father figure. If anybody would know her secret, it would be him, and that's how all the 7th fucking Cavalry know. That's how Lady True
That
find out.
explains everything. So they're gonna hide the whole cop killing thing, make it seem like it's the 7th Cavalry move, when in reality it's really just a hit on Angela's house so they can kill Angela and get to Dr. Manhattan. That's the whole plan. They're going to make it seem like it's this big 7th Cavalry move, but in reality, it's just to get to Dr. Manhattan and cover it up. It's genius. It's genius.
It makes sense. She always wondered what happened with Kyle during that whole event. Because she gets shot and it's like, wait, what happened? Did Judd like truly came in and saved her? But in reality, maybe just came to go get Kyle.
Yeah, well, I would say
Right,
that,
but they didn't get Cal though.
yeah, it might not have been specifically to get Cal. I think there's still more that needs to be explored there, because
Judd got shot.
Well,
Angela, I
he
think.
said he did, and he might have been the second person in the house, but he did also say to Will, like, you don't really understand what's happening. I'm actually trying to help. I think he definitely was with the Seventh Cavalry and whatnots, but I feel like there's a possibility that he could have been a double agent, almost on like the Professor Snape angle of things. So
because if Judd was gonna go in there and kill her, he would have done it.
Yeah, she would be dead. He had her at point blank range, so something is missing. There are pieces of the puzzle that are missing that were
Well,
not.
he said not to be in the house because he was also shot in his house. That was his alias. So, I mean, it could have been Keenan there, somebody else, just these Okies as he calls them.
What if Cal
But
got shot and his dick turned blue? I mean, that would be a big giveaway.
he's radiating. He's giving
I mean,
everyone in the
yeah,
room cancer.
he might have been there to stop Cal actually being shot. So like you said, he's trying to help, but he's very low key, very undercover, and he's doing so much moving under the radar that Will maybe didn't see the big picture and see everything that was going down. So he still thought Judd was a complete bad guy. But like I've always said, I need more information where Judd is concerned. I don't think he's, completely on one way or the other. He's just in the system to try to bend it to what is actually good for people. But I don't know. We'll have to see.
So I got a tenfold theory based off of this and Renee of House Stark. You're in on this as well. They never said Cal was injured in the ambush, just Angela, so we're missing something there. What if Cal was shot in the head? What if Cal was shot in the head and that inhibitor was knocked out then? Angela's just put it back in. They've decided to put it back in and have as much time as they can have to spend left together. That a few years after the White Knight, when the Millennium Clock hits, it's over by then. More than likely, by that time, we're gonna have to be done. Maybe that's how it got saved, and then that Judd, because John, aka Dr. Manhattan, aka Cal, he can see the future. He can see all of time at the same time. So it gets really confusing. Just like next episode, he's going to tell Angela that he's in love with her. And she's like, what, since you first met me, when you first laid eyes on me? Before I ever knew you. And I don't have any conception of time, so therefore I've always known you. And there was never a moment that I did not know you. Basically.
Yeah. There's no future for him. There's no past. There is just time. I mean, he kind of sees things and it's a if you're into like physics and quantum mechanics and things like that and all of Einstein's theory, the way Einstein sees it, time and space are all relative concepts. They don't always exist. And things always interfere with time and space. So to him, there is no like time and space. There's no before. There's no future. There's only time. The whole thing. There's only time. It's just this one plane, and that's the way Dr. Manhattan sees everything. And if you see everything on that level, well, that starts to make everybody else look kind of small, including everybody. Human beings. They look small in the general concept of time and space. There's so much going on in the universe, and then just here there's humanity. So it's interesting to me that he, no matter what, always has to have like a companion, because first he starts with Janie Slater, and then he goes to Lori, and then Lori, I guess, gets too old for him, and she's staying still basically as he told Janie. So now he moves on to Angela, but he consistently finds like a companion. I feel like he has a way to tether himself to Earth, and the way he does that is by tethering himself to somebody he loves.
Very good point. If y'all remember me talking about it a while, I thought it may be for Lori that he would come back. But we know that Dr. Manhattan That's the only thing that really makes him human anymore, is that love that he can have for just a specific individual. Not everyone, just a specific individual. It goes back to him telling the kids, you're just nothing before you're born, and you're nothing after you're dead. Don't worry about it, you little piece of shit. You're gonna die. Stuff like that. And you could say that. Okay, so he talks about how lonely he is, and his existence is the loneliest, and he knows that humanity, even if he finds a companion, it will only last so long, and it's very finite. It's a super small amount of time in the speck of what is history in general. Like he probably has to see a future scenario of himself just being fucking lonely and empty nothingness of space with no one else around. It's got to be a terrifying prospect, but he doesn't really see it that way. But I think logically he has to have something to hold on to, because it's only going to be there so long.
Yeah, I think that's also, it backs up what Angela said to him. Like, if it makes you feel any better, this was your idea. And we did all this so we could be together at least for a little while. So he saw this coming, and there's always talk that he is disconnected from his humanity, and he needs certain pushes to reconnect and have some type of compassion or feelings. I don't think he ever lost any of those feelings. Like if you check the look on his face at near the end of the comics, he seems incredibly sad for everything that's transpired, and I think for everything that he knows is still going to come, that's probably going to be a lot worse than what happened before. But he knows that his time with Angela is coming, and it seems, to me anyway, he saw a bit more in Angela than with Lori or the other woman that he was with ahead of time.
Jane.
Because was that her name?
Janie.
Okay, yeah, Janie. He didn't seem to really, want to stay with any of them, because you put this elaborate hoax together with the only intention for any of that happening was just so you two could actually be together for a while. I think for his character and for how we know his brain operates, that is a very powerful thing to say. He went through all these lengths. It's like when the 10th Doctor was, almost dying at the end of I think it was maybe season 9 or 10 of Doctor Who. Everything was so raw and so emotional that, the Doctor, he basically told Rose, like, I am burning up a whole sun just to be able to keep this connection active so I can talk to you and tell you things are going to be okay with the way they ended up. I could be
We're
reaching,
getting all the Doctor Who feels over here.
Oh
yeah,
my God, I
see the
remember
parallel.
that.
I can see the parallel there. Angela is that one. And he pulled all these things just to be with her for even a short time. He knew it wasn't going to be forever, but he still wanted to do it because he felt that deeply for her. So there's something else coming in Angela's storyline. I hope that she doesn't die before the season's out, but there's something more powerful that's going to happen with her, and it's going to completely make the whole season.
Screw you guys, yeah. Dr. Manhattan's a self-admitted sexaholic, and he only breaks up with the first with his first girlfriend because she's looking older every day. That's
but I think the comparison of Dr. Manhattan to the Doctor is very fitting, because they both don't have a concept of time, and the thing that keeps them driven to keep helping humanity and all of that, they always have their companions with them and these friends that they take along the way. And I mean, that's very fitting for Dr. Manhattan, because literally his only tether to humanity itself is whoever it is that he loves in that moment of his time. Because first it was Janie, then it was Lori who had to convince him to come back and try and save Earth from this horrible event that was going to happen thanks to Ozzy. And then now it's Angela, and he's going to have to somehow stop the 7th Cavalry, which I think he's probably just going to blow up. Honestly, I don't think he's going to save anybody. I think he's just going to kill everybody. He's going to be like, well, I don't really have a point. I'm just going to kill everybody on this planet and blow it to smithereens. I sure hope not. That'd be such an awful way to end the show. That'd be terrible. It'd be fitting, but like,
no, man, all the white people are dying at the end of this. Trust me. No, the memories are gonna get wiped.
Real quick, John, I want to give a shout out to Hacks Dogma that just joined us in the chat. If y'all don't know who this gentleman is, please go check out his channel. He's got some awesome things going down. I just recently found his channel, and I've been binging for the past couple days.
Oh, this man's on it, okay, and he's got some good video making skills. You go check it out, and he knows what he's talking about. I'll get to argue with him one day, very soon.
True.
Absolutely, facts.
Also, the doctor comparison, it gotta stop, because we all know bad things happen with these companions. So if Regina dies, I just jinxed it. Just saying it now.
I don't think she's gonna die. I think this is her story.
That's true. They have been saying from the beginning this is her story.
Mirror Guy's gonna die saving her. PD's gonna live just
no, not my man LG.
Yeah,
I already
LG's dead.
Except that PD might go, and that's love Lube, man.
Hey, what if PD gets stuck in a hole he can't fit in, and that's how he dies?
Nah, fam, that's not even like Winnie the Pooh. He's gonna get stuck.
Yeah, exactly. Money. Tech, I know you got something to say about that. What happened?
I'm not unmuted. Oops.
Oh, there you go. It happened.
I mean, I can't for sure say. I know. In my mind, with this being Watchmen, there's a chance everybody's going to die, because I'm just so used to how grim and dark this comic gets. And in the true telling of a story like this, like in a true story of how grim this is a story on biblical proportions of epicness and all this great stuff. And it's just, Bible stories don't always end happy. Oftentimes they don't end happy. They end very badly, and God got to come in, or Jesus got to come in, save everybody. So I think it might be that
ask
here.
You to sacrifice your son,
Yeah,
that's facts. Seriously, if you want to read the original Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, not even the Iron King book series. No, go read the Bible. Go read the Bible. It is literally the bloodiest book you'll ever read.
Dude, there's some fucked up.
I was raised in the church, but still, you have to learn how to see reality for what it is. That is the bloodiest damn book. How many wars and things have been fought in
Joshua?
Regular history about religion. When it comes to God figures, it's fascinating.
Probably the coolest though.
You know what? The biggest player in all the Bible was David. Bathsheba.
Yo,
better come
son,
to me.
I have been saying that for years, dude. David, and respect for what he.
The most confusing stuff it's the part about the end of the world.
That's a crazy motherfucker in a cave that was exiled, and that son of a bitch was crazy when he wrote that. Just remember that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot, because Genesis is crazy too, because it's the creation. There's so much that happens in Genesis. It's like literal, creation of Earth. But Revelations, it's so ominous, but so
that's an acid
poetic.
Trip from hell.
It's like, hey, world's gonna end, and if you're on Earth when it ends, you may or may not, get to see the afterlife, and you're probably not going to, and it can die by fire, but not water, because not that again. But fire, anything could come and just destroy the Earth. Who knows what's gonna happen? But hey, get redemption. Like that's Revelations is so messy, and I think that's it's kind of fitting because when humanity is on the brink of extinction, everybody goes crazy. Everybody's just like, oh my God, what do we do? Like people are in, scrambling all over the place.
I
Think
think
of every
John.
post-apocalyptic story that we've seen in a movie or read in a book. It always goes down to humans being ridiculously crazy and absurd to each other. And this is the world of the Watchmen.
Do you want me to tell
This
you
is what we're seeing.
my pet theory of how John wrote Revelations? And this isn't John the Baptist. This is a different John that lived after. But I think he got acute ergot poisoning. If you don't know what ergot is, it's a type of mold that grows on wheat that is how you make LSD. And whole towns would trip on LSD when this would get into the wheat supply. And I think he was crazy and tripping on, basically LSD at this point in time.
That could be a whole other stream by itself.
Let's
not go totally
left.
Let's get back to our tinfoil.
I'd
before
throw
this
out,
turns into something else.
Hey, we need to get back to that reflectine because Lord knows we all
what's up?
After this.
Oh shit! You think what's the name still wearing his reflectine? I bet he's got his hat over
looking
his
glasses.
Cavalry mask. I bet he's got the hat over.
That's what I was about to say. What do y'all think about that? I think when they showed those two people with the Rorschach mask on, one of them is Looking Glass, and I think he has his standard Looking Glass mirror mask on, and that dude in the bunker that's missing his Rorschach mask, he has that shit. Petey, Lube Man, he's gonna go try to rescue Lori, but I think Rorschach / Looking Glass is already on the trail, and he is going to do whatever he has to do.
He's on the lube trail.
Yeah, he's on the lube. He's following the lube.
Right.
I need to
follow the slime.
Right, exactly. It just seems so fitting for it to happen like that. And like I said in the previous episode, he didn't turn Angela in to be malicious. I think he genuinely does care about what could happen to her, and he didn't want to see her or her family get slaughtered. So he played the cards the way he thought he should, and it ended up coming into what we saw in those 2 episodes. So it's just interesting. I'm really, really hoping that the theory that he is one of those guys in the car with the Rorschach mask on, and we're going to see some epic stuff coming up. 2 more episodes to go, y'all. 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more, and then the world ends. It's like the doomsday clock has begun. We got 2 hours till midnight.
You gotta be such a grim asshole.
TikTok.
I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about one of the most grim, shows and series of all.
I need to introduce you to some new shows and series. If you think this is the most grim you've ever seen, I'm gonna hook you up. So just wait till you're 18.
To me, my most grim show would be The Leftovers. That's me because my mom put me on The Leftovers, and that to me is the grimmest show I've ever seen because the world's ending, and ain't nobody, people are just disappearing everywhere. The Leftovers is a dark show. So yeah, it is depressing, but I'm used to these depressing and dark things, and I do like what I like about Watchmen the most is not only that it makes you think like all my favorite shows, but the fact that heroes cannot be heroes at the same time, and heroes can make mistakes, and heroes die all the time. Heroes get locked up. It's not your typical hero story. It's not, your hero always rises from the ashes or he always does something great. No, heroes are humans.
Die young.
Yeah, the good die young. Dollar Bill gets shot trying to save a bank in the most ironic way. The comedian makes sense, and that's the scariest part. Silhouette,
for just being who she is.
Just being who she is. She dies for it. Like a bunch of people. Night Owl was a good man, and he gets arrested. He gets arrested for it.
He's locked up.
Rorschach cares about humanity.
You save people from a fire, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, how dare you save people from a fire?
From a bomb.
Yeah, from a bomb.
It's a throwback to the first episode that we saw Lori in, where they caught that guy being a vigilante, and the crowd is like, dude, he's a hero. Why are you arresting him? and he tries. I think he tries to run and like shoots him 3 times in the back. And the guy's like, "Well, one of her partners, how did you know the armor was going to protect them?" And she was like, "Oh, I guess I didn't even really notice he had on armor." Like, she's so stuck in her comedian father's ways that was her first thought. I just shot and he needed to be stopped. It doesn't matter whether he was going to survive or not. My job is done.
I mean,
like,
also
damn, Lord, that's cold-blooded.
she's just done, period, because she had to give up her vigilantism, and she had to join, the feds. So she's pissed about that. So she's just taking it out on everybody.
Yeah, you're right. And it's the same thing that I was saying earlier, how Angela is very obtuse and condescending with her. I question whether Lori knew a bit more than we thought she knew. And that's also why she is playing the jealous ex, because she knows she wasn't able to do for Dr. Manhattan what Angela is able to do for Dr. Manhattan, to make him go through all this ruse just to be with her. Lori never had that. So she's pissed about it. Classic ex-girlfriend syndrome.
I'm definitely not laughing at you, okay? And all your points are valid. Mackenzie L. Burns just killed me with the hashtag of the night. Hashtag mask on and lubed up.
That's how we fight crime. Mask on and lubed up. That's how you fight crime. You gotta put your mask on. You gotta lube up.
That's the only way to go.
Another future reference.
When you gotta venture into them deep, dark holes, man, don't forget your lube. That's all
What's
I'm
the
saying.
name of that album, Terrence? The album with the future song.
You think Wade has a reflective pink condom? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Mom was asking the future album that comes from. That comes from Crushed Up is the song you hear in the very first episode with the guy in the truck with the cabbages, or the lettuce, my bad. The lettuce guy. Yeah, he's playing Crushed Up by Future, which comes off of the album The Wizard. So more clan stuff. It's just it's so deep rooted in there, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. From the music is so important and it's so interesting. Yeah, my cabbages. I was thinking about that. Yeah, they hide things in the smallest places, from the ink spots to the future song coming from The Wizard. It's so much. So very detailed. They try to hide stuff in the smallest places, and I'm glad I catch some of it.
Yo, speaking of hiding things, man, seriously, the whole damn dildo thing, I'm still stuck on this. This damn dildo, this shit was made for her by Alfred. First of all, how did your boyfriend come to think making you a dildo dong of your ex-boyfriend was a thing for him to do?
It wasn't weird. Supposed to be like a cruel joke.
He's definitely a cuck.
So she jokes around so much. He was like, "All right, well, let's see if you think this is funny."
I would say, do you think that Chekhov's gun is going to get used, Dornish?
I think so. There's.
I think it has a dual purpose.
It does have a dual purpose. It does have a dual purpose. It is atomic in nature, so it's got to be used somehow. They can't just pull this, out of a box for us and not.
It's already been used. It's already been used. It was staring at us from that very first time we saw it. The name of the damn thing is Excalibur.
Yeah.
And it is blue. Dr. Manhattan is Lori's ex, Cal A. Bar.
Yeah.
It was right there in sight.
Yeah, there's
well, his name is Cal Jelani.
We're gonna find out Cal's been sleeping with her.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Well, technically, I mean, Cal has slept with Lori because the original comics. Technically. But yeah, no, that that thing emits tachyons for sure. That's what that whole thing is. It's so she's like, "Ha, well, good luck trying to see me now," and she just turns it on to make fun of him.
You
It's like
think
you
that
can't
thing
see what
glows
it
in the dark?
Probably it emanates a blue light and it
I mean,
emits
with
tachyons. And
She said emanates about a dildo. Look, this is getting weird. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, Dornish, stop getting all mad.
Tim said in the chat,
Oh, you're
Lori is
muted.
jealous as Tim said in the chat, Lori is going to be jealous as fuck. And yeah, absolutely. When she actually figures it out, and she's going to completely, those are all of her insecurities going to come and smack her in the face. Because
that's not all that's going to smack her in the face.
I mean, the dildo might. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. But like I said earlier,
He's saving her, Dr. Manhattan's.
Cal / Dr. Manhattan went above and beyond to make sure he had special time with Angela. He didn't do none of that for Lori. And she still has this, pent up love interest in him. And it's messy. It's really messy and it's really awesome to see. And I can't wait to see how the last 2 episodes actually work all this together.
I'm starting to get sad about it because I really love this show and our cute little commentaries on it.
Do y'all want to end on a joke? Already. Plus, I'm going to make you do more stuff later, Dornish, don't worry. You want to end on a joke, though? Peter Griffin. Y'all have to finish this joke, okay? So, we'll start with Tech. We're going to put all the pressure on him. So, as Peter Griffin asked, or this is how the joke starts. Excalibur walks into a bar.
Oh, God. Excalibur walks into a bar? That can go anywhere. Oh, my God. Let's see.
His blue dildo isn't far? I don't know.
I would say Agent Blake walks into a bar with Excalibur. She talks to the guy at the front desk and she trips on an ice cube and she jabs him in the face with it. It'd be kind of funny. I can just see her doing that. Using a sword, like a lightsaber.
Yeah, this is like Chappelle's show. What is this bitch? A lightsaber?
Yeah. I can smell your lightsaber.
Oh my God. Oh, you're in trouble. You're in trouble tonight.
I remember that.
What is this bitch? Oh my God. Okay. Shout out to Chappelle's show if it ever needed a shout out.
Show us where he touched you on the doll. He told me to use the fork.
One of my funniest memories of freaking Dave Chappelle was when he was going off on that politician rant. And one of the lines he said was, I love lesbians. I watched the L Word on Showtime. I did not know until months later that the L Word was actually a fucking thing.
No, how about the yellow cake? The yellow cake. Pray to God he don't drop that. Pray to God he don't drop that.
The yellow cake, the black white supremacist, fucking Lil Jon.
Oh my God. That's who Will Reeves is.
Look,
he's actually hidden the whole time as gosh, what's his name?
He divorced his wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After 48 years of faithful marriage, we asked her why.
Because it wasn't Tyrone Biggums. No, that's the crackhead.
It was Clayton Bigsby.
That's it.
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby.
Yo, Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories. Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy.
Rest in peace.
You are many.
He made us pancakes.
Yeah,
Charlie
he
Murphy
took us inside and he made us pancakes. I love them stories.
Unity.
Oh man, yo, he made fun of reparations too. It's all coming full circle.
Fucking Ashley Larry bought a whole truck of Newports.
No, he's like, baby,
for me and my family for the rest of my life.
Oh my goodness,
baby, I just bought this baby straight cash.
Nah, we gotta stop. That's a whole nother stream in itself.
Oh
We
yeah,
can
these
we gotta wrap.
hold
recommendations.
We
on,
gotta wrap.
my people. Special shout out also to Swuna channel. If y'all
Yes.
like to hear about old castles around Europe, Sakuna tours these castles and posts a lot of good videos and information about them. So please go check out her channel. Chrissy, if you could drop that link for Sakuna's channel, please. Thank you for coming in, Sakuna, and listening to us ramble about this awesome show.
It's a beautiful channel, and I've been a proud member for a while.
Absolutely.
And I hope you're doing good, Sakuna. It's nice to see you around. I have been dead inside, so I apologize. No. She just put up stuff another day, or a day or two ago. Just saw it. Gotta get on that. Yeah. Thank you for that shout out, okay, for real. Blessing in disguise. I got just some people just ran home. Sorry I'm being awkward. Let's give, I guess, our final thoughts. Dornish is really mad at me. I'm going to get some strongly worded emails because I've been just saying awful things to her son, putting just horrible things in his head. He actually has a bleak outlook on the world now. I feel like that's slightly my fault.
Really? Have you met
maybe,
his mother?
Yeah, that
Yes,
comes
I
from
have.
her entirely.
I
That's
was
mom's
about to
work.
say, have you met us in general?
Yeah.
This is just what we do.
I'm actually more optimistic than probably all y'all because my mom's the most nihilistic person that'll ever exist. So I'm always like,
life hasn't
life's
beat
gonna
the
keep
shit out
going.
of you yet, man.
Oh, it
Just give
has.
it time.
I'm
no.
just. It has. The years has been rough, but I'm just like, got to keep on moving. Always got this meet the Robinsons, keep
I was
moving
once like
forward.
you, young man.
The small moments. It's about
Yeah.
the small
No,
good
I've always got to
moments.
keep going.
All in all, to sum up the episode, excellent episode, pretty straightforward. The only real tinfoil that I think we got again was the book that he's holding, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's not just a Metallica song. Check that out. Check out the breakdown. I think it's pretty much signaling that he is going to sacrifice himself for Angela Abar. And maybe Thug Notes has something on it. Y'all know I love that channel, Thug Notes. So check him out.
Motherfucking Thug Notes.
Dead
Yo,
ass,
Check out
though.
Sparky, yo.
Son,
Dead ass.
if,
Check out
if
Sparky.
you want to hear some fun summaries about some of the greatest books that a lot of us are all fans of, go to the channel Wisecrack and check out their playlist called Thug Notes. It's brilliant. I wish they were still.
Sparky's a PhD. Like, he's not playing games. Like, he really knows his shit. He's a literary master. So
He really does. Yeah, go definitely check that out on Wisecrack. Search for that playlist. I told you, it's pretty awesome.
And if you'll definitely like that because I got a PhD's nuts and, I'm entertaining you guys. So you'll definitely like Thug Nuts. I like it.
You'll definitely enjoy Thug Notes. Me and my mom like watching them all the time. He had one on my favorite book of all time, Ender's Game, which I loved it. It was so good. I loved it.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's such a good book, man. I love Ender's Game.
So
But
depressing.
yeah, it's I mean it's depressing, but it is a very true testament to childhood and how fragile a child's mind is. I mean, they made them murder an entire species.
It really is. You can cave their head in pretty easy with something.
Just beat them with a brick.
Pull out an Anthony Jeselnik joke about child
God.
murder and shit.
God.
Yeah, that's what
Oh. Wow, so I don't know. Y'all never know. Y'all stay posted. I always do something new.
For sure, man. Whenever you get it together, send out the Ravens, man. Call the banners because I am highly interested in listening. And like I said, if you're down for mythology talk, I will gladly have you on my channel so we can shoot the shit about it. I
you
love
don't want
that.
to talk about Thor dressing up in a dress and fucking killing a giant and getting his hammer back?
Well, I absolutely want to talk about that because sometimes you got to do what the hell you got to do. And shout out to Neil Gaiman because he tells that story in his Norse Gods
Facts.
book. Go check it out.
And go
Is
check out
Johnny?
John St.
John.
Baptiste
Yeah, about to say
channel.
that, Johnny.
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
doing
that's
streams
right.
on
Say
it.
shout out to JSB.
Yeah, John St.
He did
Baptiste
tomorrow.
and Salsa K, I believe, did a discussion about the Norse Gods book just like a week ago or so, I think.
I'll be on there at some point once my schedule relinquishes me for a few. I've been doing some nice Norse mythology readings. And I mean, you know, everything from The Wall and Game of Thrones is there. I mean, there's a lot of Game of Thrones references. And also, if you didn't know, Gandalf the Grey was written by Tolkien, of course, but it was modeled after Odin the Wanderer, his wanderer persona, before he lost an eye and gained the wisdom from the pool of wisdom from Mimir. So, I don't know. Whatever. There's fun stuff to talk about with that. Anyways, Fandom D, tell everybody where y'all come from.
Anywho, this was a good episode of Watchmen. Again, it was kind of like, as you said earlier, straightforward to the point. We finished talking about it within an hour, and then to fill up the 2-hour mark, AK had to have a dildo conversation. It's not freaking Monero's Geek TV here, shameless plug. Monero's After Dark conversation was pretty much happening mid-street.
You
But
damn
yeah.
right.
But yes, you can always find me at Fandom D saying where I could do reactions to several TV shows like The Watchmen. I honestly cannot wait to find out what was the whole plan, because Angela said that this was Dr. Manhattan's plan. So it's like, whenever, I believe it's next week's episode, we're going to get it, hopefully. Not the last episode, but hopefully we're going to find out what the whole plan was.
Yeah, I hope so. I know we're definitely getting the Dr. Manhattan origin story with him and Angela and how they met, everything up to this point.
And also, before I freaking, leave and all, the freaking PD file confirms that Dr. Manhattan loves Funko Pops. He was interested in the Dr. Manhattan bobblehead. Confirmed.
You're a piece of shit.
Confirmed.
He's always got to get the Funko loving him. But Fandom D is one of the kings of Funko Pops. Maybe one day he can be the emperor, the all-knowing ruler of the universe of Funko.
Nah, he's the Funko god. Get it straight.
There are, I hate to say it, but I've seen people out there with more Funkos. Fandom's got a little bit of ways to go. He's up there.
You sold him a good name, Johnny. You sold him a good name.
I'm not selling it.
Can't help it if we're choosy. I don't have that many
Maybe he's
Funkos.
one.
I'm choosy
Okay,
about my
so
Funkos.
if he's one of the, he could be one of the gods. I'm being an asshole to my
Funko
awesome
demigod.
friend here. No, he has a billion more Funkos than I do. I can't afford them. You guys send me a bunch of money so I can buy Funkos. I'm gonna make a GoFundMe.
Okay,
Funko.
I'll super chat you. Oh wait.
Fuck you, fam. Give me some of your subscribers.
Hey, hey,
There's some
little dude on the
fight
street.
words.
Little dude on the street. Let me hold $1.
Yeah,
I need about $3.50.
I need about $3.50. Told me I'll need about $3.50.
Dude, I freaking missed that show. Terry Crews was just such gold. This is 87 cents worth of milk spilled on this damn counter. Somebody gonna drink this milk.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, my favorite part will always be when he comes around and he's like, "You think I'm playing? I'll find you while you showering. You think I'm playing?" That's my favorite from everybody hates Chris. Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and head out now because I got school tomorrow. Sucks, but I'm gonna head out now. I've had fun talking about this fantastic show. So thank you.
We're heading out too.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry we derailed the chat a little bit there, Johnny. Thanks, Tech, for always coming in. I appreciate your insight, seriously, as the young man that you are. There's not a lot of these kids, little rugrats, run around these days that can do critical thinking. So I very much, you're a very a cool glass of water in the stream.
Thank you.
Again, I'll also say, because I know Johnny's about to call on me for the outro that everybody else did.
Am I?
You will always find me. Yes, you are. You know you are. Don't front with me, son. I know you.
I feel like I'm being punished right now. I don't know I don't know what's happening.
The lies you tell. But now, please sub to all of these awesome folks on the panel. Well, at least sub to Fandom and Johnny Be Crazy because they got the vids. And thank you for having me again, Johnny. This has been a blast. I think this is probably my favorite episode of the season so far, and I can't wait to see what they do next and to come on and chat with all of you lovely folks about the happenings and whatnot. So let's fingers crossed that Angela Abar does not die, that Dr. Manhattan does not die, and we're gonna see some epic things coming up.
Yes, and I super appreciate you, AK. You're fucking awesome, and we're gonna get on this. Everybody's getting sad, but does anybody else think that Tech right now is standing in a corner, Blair Witch style, just kind of being put in timeout by his mom? That's how I feel what's going on.
Yeah, I think that would be a no.
Why does everyone call me a witch?
I didn't call you a witch.
It's Dornish. She's not gonna put baby in a corner.
I didn't say you were the Blair
Yeah,
Witch.
most definitely. No Swayze.
No, she's just gonna send him to bed because he's got to go to school in the morning.
We're
She
hanging
is a
up now.
mom
Anyway.
doing mom things.
I'm just kidding. I did not call you a witch. I said like in the Blair Witch. I just
You
thought
wouldn't
just
be the
standing
first
in the
one.
corner. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not taking that route. You better stop it. I'm feeling very sad that you're mad at me right now, Dornish.
I'm so
Anyways.
not mad at you. Shut
Oh,
up.
Right,
God.
you can see that smile on her face, and I'm smiling too, even though you can't see my face. Ain't nobody hating. Stop that. We family around here. This is what family does. We joke around with each other.
That's right.
Dead
I laugh
Dead
like I laugh like Christian Bale in American Psycho. I really mean it, but I'm dead inside. No, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Tech West. I hope you're listening because I really appreciate you, man. You give some fantastic insight. Don't ever think that we don't put value in what you say because it's usually more valuable than anything we have to say. So just remember that and don't let it go to your head, all right? Fandom D Saint let it go to his head, and you saw what happened to his eyebrows and forehead. Look at that picture.
And you gone so crazy, you lost your hairline. We know.
I did. I have to cover it up. But Timmy says blue dildos, lube trains. What have we become? Thanks, Dogma. Thanks for coming on, man.
Awesome. That is what we have become.
I think so. Peter Griffin, everybody, thanks so much for coming out. Let me give a shout out to my patrons real quick. Amy True, Anime Lover Nicole, Bobby Catalano, Catherine Cronin, Catherine Harding, Clarissa Thompson, Dark Mother, John St. Baptiste, Casey of House Lordbridge, Katrency from My Point of View, Nancy T, Santivia Major, Steve York, and the podcastat.com. Yes, thank you so much. Check out those channels below. Are you inspiring me more? Join Geek Folk One today. We'll get back to the intro. Everybody, thanks y'all. I appreciate y'all coming out, and we will catch you on the next one. I'll be playing that outro music. We'll give them a little jibber jabber at the end. I don't know what y'all think. I think I screwed up this show good enough or what? There's nobody talking to me anymore.
There is no to be had. You shut your blasphemous mouth. We are all of the awesome sauce. You stop it right now.
Yeah, for real.
Can y'all hear us now? Let me know if y'all can hear us and what you would like me to say. Y'all like peace signs and Delta Lauda to me. Renee M of House Star. Fantastic.
And here we go. We are cut.
Are we?
Yes.
How?
At least it looks like we have. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's an end sequence that I'm not.
Oh no, yeah.
Nah, it looks like we are.
Huh, weird.
Oh,
Still going on mine.
Oh wait, no. Nancy said we're not. So.
Oh no, I don't expect us to be cut. I was just giving them some bullshit at the end. Y'all better like that. Bye guys.